Hi, and welcome to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. I am your host, Eric Knowles, and I'll be right back after a word from one of our supporters.
Miami-Dade College has career paths in anything you want to be. What's your story? Be global. Be cutting edge. Be inventive. Be investigative. Be a hero. What do you want to be? Be the best. Be you. Be MDC.
Hi, and welcome back to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. I am your host, Eric Knowles, and you know the deal. I'm excited about building our small businesses. Let's say our Black businesses, our brown businesses, our women-owned businesses, small businesses in general. Small business is the lifeblood of our communities, and we're excited to be here. And I'm here with Mr. Minor, Rob Minor. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
The minister of minister of comedy.
Yes.
Okay.
It's funny, every time somebody say that, it reminds me of the transformation of my life, because I was once on that Def Jam scene, whatever.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I've opened up for Bernie Mac,
Okay.
Hughley, James Brown, and crazy. A lot of people
Wait a minute, James Brown.
James Brown, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but my grandfather and Bill Cosby were like best friends.
Okay.
But my grandfather was scared of crowds. But when I was a kid, he used to call me all the time on the phone and disguise his voice. So it's crazy. When he died, I went to his funeral, and I looked in the paper, and it was a citywide contest. And I walked right up to the casket, and I said, "Granddad, I recognize that this gift you've given me, but I was raised in church, so I wasn't scared of crowds." And I said, "I promise you right now, I'm going to fulfill your dream." And it was a citywide contest. I called the guy that was throwing the contest, and I said, "You guys having a citywide contest?" And he said, "Yes, we are." And I said, "Well, can anybody get in it?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm the guy that's going to win your contest." And he said, "Well, how long you been doing comedy?" I said, "I've never been on stage a day in my life."
Wow.
I said, "But winners win. Winners win." And it was a 5-week process, and 3 people advanced for 4 straight weeks. And then the 12 guys would battled out, and I won. It was cats in there like Michael Blackson. There was a lot of cats in there. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think Michael Blackson took 3rd. Charles Walden took 2nd. As a matter of fact, Charles Walden is a close friend of mine. He has cerebral palsy, and he is an amazing comedian. As a matter of fact, I've had him here in Miami, and he blew the place up to the point where I have another show in about a week, and they backed by popular demand. So this is me, man. I came out just.
So you won that contest?
Won it with ease. They were calling me the Mike Tyson of comedy. Listen,
wow.
I opened up for James Brown like maybe 2 years doing comedy. They came to my house to ask me to do it in the hood. I was living in Philadelphia then, and
that's what I was going to ask you. Where are you from? Where are you from originally?
Philadelphia.
Okay, y'all crazy in Philly.
Oh no! You just gave us a compliment. Crazy.
No, y'all.
We're beyond crazy.
I have one of my best friends from when I was 17, when I was in the Army, from Philly.
Okay.
And today, I keep telling him he needs to be I was going to say the D word, a comedian.
Yes.
Because, I mean,
it's the lifestyle.
I mean, he's just on all the time.
You never off.
And I'm going to shout him out. Hawk, you miss your calling. But anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
you say that.
And then, like I said, I was in the Army, went in the Army when I was 17. And the cats from Philly, they just had this different vibe.
Yeah, they do. It's amazing you said, because if I know cats that never been on stage in the day of their lives that are probably better than 60%.
Well, I'm telling you,
it's the lifestyle, man.
I'm telling you, Hawk is he
never cuts it off, right?
Never cuts it off.
It's how
I mean, you are the brunt of everything. And then we talk about, I worked for the Dolphins for 15 years, and then the Philadelphia fans, they come down to start a ruckus.
Could you imagine if Dak Prescott had a spit, or anybody from the Cowboys had a spit on Jalen Hurts? and would have happened to them, yeah, that whole throwing snowballs at Santa Claus is real. It's real.
Philly,
it's real.
in Philly, for you all who don't know, Philly, the football stadium has a jail and a magistrate.
Yes.
All football stadiums have
yes,
they have jails
and a
because
judge.
that's what I'm saying. The judge, the magistrate,
Oh, I'm
because
embarrassed now.
that's how crazy they are in Philly. But anyway,
Yes.
Philly is it's a beautiful. What is sister of brotherly love?
Brotherly love. Yeah. It's and once you've been incorporated into that, you love it. You love it. You love it. I've been here 11 years, and I've embraced, the whole Florida thing, because I don't believe in living somewhere and not embracing it. Just
Right.
like if I was to marry a woman that already has 2 kids, they're my kids now.
Yeah,
so when
absolutely.
I told everybody, even at the job, I said, give me a year or two, I will be a Dolphin fan, and I will be a Heat fan, and I will be a Marlin fan, because I will not disrespect this town and suck up y'all resources, y'all money, and y'all beautiful weather, and not root for your team.
Well, everybody in the world wants to be in Miami.
Yeah.
I tell you, you travel the world and you say, well, it's kind of crazy right now. I don't, with politics or whatever.
Yes, I
but still, when you go out of the country and you say you're from Miami, they just light up.
If they can get the first, what's funny about Miami? What's funny about Miami, Florida, period, is everyone that lives in Miami, it's just our way of lifestyle. But when you hear other people talk about it, the first thing they mention is alligator and snakes. I mean, I've been here 11 years and I haven't seen one alligator. But just like when people talk about Philadelphia, the first thing they think about is snowstorms and stuff.
No, I think about Philly steak sandwich.
Crazy. Don't tell anybody I said this. But I actually make them. I make Philly cheesesteaks, and I make Philadelphia hoagies, and I go to like barbershops and salons.
I've never been a hoagie fan.
Yeah, you never had one.
I don't like soggy bread.
You never had one. Listen, I'll toast your roll, but you will not have that problem. But I'm telling you, you've had one, you want more. Yeah, I bought that culture from Philadelphia, and I'm able to do it. As a matter of fact, I have people from Jersey subs asking me to make them a sub. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I make Philly cheesesteaks. I make pizza steaks, where I take the steak and I put it back in the oven after I put the marinara sauce and cheese. I'm telling you, it's in my blood. It's in my blood.
Okay. So what made you get into well, you did. You told me.
Yeah.
I would say what made you get into comedy? Your grandfather. Wait. So your grandfather, you said, was friends with Bill Cosby.
His name was Eddie Burroughs.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I believe they say that one of the characters from the actual Cosby show was like
pattern after your grandfather.
And my grandfather, he was crazy, man. But the crazy part about that was my dad died when I was 9 years old.
Okay.
Christmas Day.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now, that's the saddest time of my life. I get to school, and please don't laugh. And a kid hollered out, "Rob, Dad died so he wouldn't have to give him no toys." And and the classroom erupted. And I'm sitting there, and
wow.
As sad as I was, I understood the power of laughter.
Wow.
I understood it. I said, doesn't matter, whatever the circumstance is, the laughter supersedes everything. And
laughter heals.
Yes, and I sat there and laughed.
Sometimes.
I thought about it for a second.
Sometimes.
And I was like, and I tried to be upset, but it was so funny. I laughed. And I said, you know what? No one will ever beat me at the dozens, because I don't have a soft spot no more. Because if I can overcome that, I'm good. And I really believe in the power of laughter. As a matter of fact, not to get off schedule, but I'm, of course, a minister.
Right.
Also, that's why they call me the minister of comedy. I'm licensed. And I've prayed, and quite a few people have been healed from cancer. And I prayed them through it, and I talked them through it. And you want to know the key ingredient I told them was, you have to laugh through it.
You got to laugh.
You have to laugh through it.
It was funny. Well, I just said in another show, life's, it's not that serious. You got to laugh. We got to bring more laughter. It's too much hate and so many other things. We need laughter. And we'll be back, and we'll be talking about a little bit more laughter on the other side.
Learn and earn today at Miami-Dade College. College graduates earn 56% more than high school graduates and $1 million more in lifetime earnings. A degree from MDC is your path to greater earning power and career success. Choose from hundreds of affordable high-tech and in-demand career programs, including cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, business, and nursing. Learn and earn today at MDC and fast-track your career. Enroll now at mdc.edu/purpose.
So I'm back here with the Minister of Comedy. We're having some laughs. We're talking about childhood, and I guess a lot of our comedy comes from our childhood because it's just funny. I mean, it's a sad commentary that you said that your classmate said your dad didn't want to buy Christmas presents, so he died.
He killed us. So I was
Wow.
the coldest dozen bus I've ever gotten.
Wow.
And after that, nothing bothers me.
Okay.
Nothing. And I've been in wars with Michael Blackson, because Michael Blackson is very good at.
Oh yeah, Michael. That's what he just throws. That's what he does.
And we went on each other. Matter of fact, we both opened up for Bernie Mac. And when we were backstage, a whole bunch of comedians are backstage. And if you want to hear something funny, get 10, 15 professional comedians in a room together, and they cut on each other like something you will never see.
I couldn't even imagine.
And me and Mike went at it for hours, and I think I got him because after a while I realized, I said, you know what? Because with the whole African thing, I said, you know what? I said, I don't know why I'm arguing with you. I said, because for the price of a small cup of coffee, I could own you. And he was mad, and he went like this. And I said, what was that, a fly? Because with the me and Mike.
Actually, a good friend of mine's, Dr. Delvina Thomas. You may even know Delvina because she's a good friend of Michael Blackson. Actually, they're good friends. And it's hard. I want to ask you, what made you get into comedy? But obviously, again, you know that whole thing of your grandfather
after getting kicked out of listen. I was always an intelligent guy. Matter of fact, my son is a rocket scientist, but my report card would read A3. I always get A's and B's and a 3 in behavior. I wouldn't shut up. It was something that I couldn't not do. My grandfather put something in me, and I can't undo it. It's outside of my commitment to God, the ministry part. It literally is my lifeline. I cannot not make people laugh. I cannot. Be honest with you, if it wasn't for survival, I almost want to give it away for free. That's how much I love to make people laugh, because it's in me.
So you are a minister.
Yes.
Yes. I assume you deliver messages.
Yes.
That has to be an interesting.
That's because the Bible is funny. I mean, anytime, take for instance, Sarah at the Sarai, before she came, Sarah, she couldn't have kids. So she told Abraham to go into her handmaiden.
Right.
That's funny. Who's going to be disobedient to that? So when I look at some of the actual things in the Bible, it's hilarious. Now, what I do not do is I do not violate. Like, you cannot make God look bad. You cannot talk down to the church. So it's a fine line between how you can mention church things and still be respectful.
Right.
But you make it work. You make it work.
Right.
You make it work.
The business of comedy. I was just watching just the other day talking about the weigh-ins, the weigh-ins, not the singers, the comedians.
Matter of fact, Damon Wayans is my one of my favorite. Him and Eddie Murphy, because Damon Wayans, when he did comedy, you could see he had fun, and you can't lose that on stage. It's a job, but you got to have fun.
So they were talking about in Living Color, and how Tommy Davidson and Jamie Foxx, they had their and the fact that Jamie Foxx would go in on Tommy Davidson because Tommy would get in his feelings.
Oh, you have no idea. Those two
That's kind of like
Oh,
what you were saying about you and
yeah.
blacks.
I'm glad you picked it up.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's a war. It's almost like a showdown. You know, when you see two comedians and they all come in the room, it never stops. And the crazy thing about that is no one's allowed to get in their feelings. So imagine an unlimited power to say whatever you want,
Right.
no matter how offensive it is, and the person can't get mad. You have to have tough skin for that. You have to have very.
So talk about the business of comedy.
You know what? The business of comedy is fickle. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I was looked upon as maybe the next Eddie Murphy. I do voices, impersonations, and stuff like that, and singers. Do stuff like that, and I never forget when I just finished opening up for James Brown, and James Brown wanted me to tour with him. Coliseum, 100,000 plus people. And just before he went on tour, he ended up in jail. Remember, he beat his wife. It's crazy. Bernie Mac come to me. Anything you want, I got you. Bernie dies. And I never forget when P. Diddy, they called me and they wanted me to do, if you can remember this, The Bad Boys of Comedy.
Yeah.
It was an HBO spot.
Right.
Here I am. I know after this,
it's
it. Everything is gravy after that. And something kept saying, don't go. Something, because remember, I was raised, my mom's a preacher, my dad was a preacher. I was raised from apostolic faith.
Yeah, so
holiness.
That's a whole nother world.
So I believe in that. I had a praying grandmother. My grandmother owned a church. And there was something inside me that said, you can't go, you can't do this. And I end up a little while after that rededicating my life to Christ. As a matter of fact, if you do the numbers, it was right around the time where my daughter passed from cancer about 22 years ago. And if you do the math, it's right around the time where I stepped out in Philadelphia and I was hot. And you know who stepped right in? Kevin Hart. He's actually my younger brother's friend. And he stepped right in. So I walked away from that and I rededicated my life to Christ. And that's when I realized I can't talk like that. I can't act like that. I can't do those things. And now I haven't been one that, I know people can tell you my past life, and they can tell you I haven't heard a word of profanity come out of Rob's mouth in about 16, 17 years. And you're talking about, at one point I went on like a 9-year celibacy walk. And I didn't realize why this deep commitment was inside me. But I realized in about the last year or two that, and I end up getting my license for ministry, and I realized that's it. God wanted me, he gave me the gift, but he wanted me to do it his way. So he made me the minister of comedy. And it was crazy because right after I made up the name, my church gave me my license. I was like, this is crazy. I said, this is crazy. Right before that, I said, no, I'm going to do this. I started calling myself the minister of comedy. And God was like, no, it has to be in order. So the church ended up giving me, I did my sermon and stuff like that. And they said, no, they gave me a license. So now I'm officially the minister of comedy.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, but the business is real cutthroat. It's real cutthroat. And it's a lot of soul searching you have to do, because the opportunities that will come your way.
Right.
With when you're good, it's amazing. But like Denzel said, all money ain't good money. So, so you have to be very careful, because if you can't look yourself in the mirror, if you can't step out yourself to see yourself and still don't like yourself, check yourself out.
Yeah, no, that's serious. Just listening to you and again, growing up and comedians over the years, Red Fox,
Underrated.
Red Fox, Richard Pryor, you still listen. Obviously, that's not your genre anymore.
Anymore. Be heavy.
Water's cold.
That's funny. That's funny. It was. Oh.
Yeah, but how can someone get in touch with you to learn more about what you're doing?
I made it very simple because even with the show that I'm doing next week at the Miramar Cultural Center, it's a Christian comedy show. I even have a 9-year-old Latin Christian rapper
Mhm.
on there, and it's little Luke. And you got to see that he got like a little entourage, these little girls. It's funny. And he got the book out called 30 Days with Little Luke. I have a cerebral palsy comedian who tore the place down a few months ago when I did the show. So he backed by popular demand. I have Small Fire. It's at the Miramar Cultural Center. And here's where you can get it. You can scan if you got a flyer, or one word, go to theministerofcomedy.com.
Okay.
So if anybody needs to get to me, it's theministerofcomedy.com. And because I live a celibate Christian life, I don't mind giving up my number. It's 267-616-1345. So you can call me or just theministerofcomedy.com.
You can reach the chamber at m-dcc.org or call us at 305-751-8648. This has been the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. We'll see you on the next one. Today, I stand before you, a proud graduate of Miami-Dade College and the 5th president of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. I'm honored to return to the college that prepared me to become a leader in our community, providing an education second to none. So I'm asking you to please tune in every Monday at 12 noon to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce's Member Connection, as I interview members of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce on our Facebook page at Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce or our YouTube channel, Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. To learn more about the Chamber, please go to m-dcc.org or call the Chamber at 305-751-8648.